What's up, everybody? Kyle here at Let's Talk Wax, and in this series called Prospect Hot Sheet, we take a look at the hottest prospects from the last 30 days across all of minor league baseball. I'm going to go over the top 10 from all organizations, and I'm also going to do honorable mentions for each level. That is going to be low A all the way through AAA. Before we do that, I want to explain my Let's Talk Wax ranking system. Now, in these top 10 slides, you're going to see an LTWR. I get a lot of questions on this on the channel and also over on the Patreon. What is the Let's Talk Wax ranking system? It's basically a ranking system based on solely my opinion, and it's also based on a player's ceiling. Elite ranking being an MLB MVP ceiling. Players that have ranked elite in the past are Jackson Holliday, Jackson Chourio, Paul Skeens, players of those caliber. A ranking of 1 is an MLB Superstar ceiling, so ones are very good. You can see it kind of trickles down through these rainbow colors. 2 is very good, 3 is pretty good. When we get to the 3.5s and 4s, that's what I'm kind of a little bit skittish on some players. 5s, 6s, and 7s are usually not very good. But if you want to take a screenshot of this, I do apply Let's Talk Wax rankings to almost everything in my content, so it's good to kind of have this handy if you want to reference it based on my slide. So we're going to kick this thing off with our 10 through 6 players. I see I've got my numbers jumbled a bit on this slide, but it should go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, starting with Dakota Jordan at number 10. A lot of data flying around in these hot sheets. Over on the Patreon page, I post the actual hot sheets, the actual PDF files that I use with some notes on every player. It's kind of how I organize these videos, but there's a lot of data flying around. I do make some mistakes, so I do apologize for having my numbers out of order there. Dakota Jordan, 22.1 San Francisco Giants outfielder, playing in low A still, unfortunately, but he does have big numbers despite being old for level. He's got a solid speed, power ceiling, but I'd really like to see what he's capable of doing at a higher level, hitting .312 with a 189 ISO and the most stolen bases on this list at 27. And I also like to mention the fact that in low A, stolen bases are a bit exaggerated, I guess you could say. When players are stealing bases at high levels or high rates in high A and double A, that usually is more impactful or shows more of a speed tool than stolen bases at low A, the DSL, the complex league, etc. So the lower minors for me are, I take them kind of with a grain of salt. Once players start performing really well in high A, double A, triple A, that's when I kind of get excited. But like I said, with Dakota Jordan, for his age, I'd like to see him at a higher level, maybe putting up similar numbers. If he was doing this at double A, his cards would be a lot more expensive. But he's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 3, just based on his age and level. Starlin Nunez, a bit of a surprise. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 3.5 and a $5 auto, so a super cheap buy. He does have the lowest walk rate on this list at 5.6, but he's having a solid season so far. Some sleeper prices, as I mentioned. Now, with sleeper prospects, I do a lot of sleeper stuff. Different videos targeting just specific sleepers. I do mention certain sleepers in my data and then in my content, but when I mention sleeper, that doesn't necessarily mean that a player is going to pan out. What I define a sleeper as is somebody with a cheap auto who has a chance, I think, to possibly increase the value of their auto. So not necessarily saying Starlin Nunez is going to one day be a Let's Talk Wax rank of 1 or 2. I'm just saying maybe he could increase his autos from $5 to $10. And when you're thinking about buying lower numbered autos, that could be a pretty big increase in value. But like I said, I wanted to explain how I kind of think about sleepers and not just try to tell you go buy a $5 auto and they're going to become superstars, because that's not really how it works. There's a reason his autos are $5. But he did have a big last 30 days, 3 home runs, 3 triples, and 10 doubles. Colt Emerson, another guy who I really like. He is number 15 in MLB.com's top 100, number 1 in the Seattle Mariners organization. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 1.5, a $115 auto. He's having one of his first injury-free seasons so far this year, and he's absolutely crushing it. The kid's got elite K data, and he's got a very high floor and ceiling. So those are pretty safe bets. High floors are good to a certain extent, but if they also have a high ceiling, that's a pretty good situation as well. Because even at his worst, I think Colt Emerson's going to be a solid MLB player in the future. Anthony Hueso at number 7, 19.8, Houston Astros, hitting 283 on the season with a 235 ISO. 19.8, he did most of his damage in the complex league. He was recently promoted to low A, where he's absolutely crushing it. The numbers are really surprising, really good for a $5 auto, but the bad thing with Hueso are the K numbers. The K data is just awful, but he is still producing. So I would really like to see what he's capable of doing in high A, see how those K numbers kind of, see what the K numbers look like at that level before I get super excited. But he is a cheap buy-in at $5 auto out of 2024 Bowman. At number 6, we got Kalen Culpepper. He's doing great after a promotion to Double A. He's got 5 home runs, 4 doubles, and 15 RBIs over the last 30 days. Doing very well, very hot right now. He's getting the majority of his reps at shortstop in Double A as well. So that's very exciting for card value. I know a lot of people target shortstops that can swing it in this hobby. He's got a speed, power, hit ceiling. All 3 tools are very good, and he's actually kind of cheap for the caliber of prospect and the projection that I think he could have at $25. So one of the cheaper guys with some pretty good tools. He's a top 100 prospect at 85, number 5 in the Minnesota organization, which is pretty loaded right now. So Kalen Culpepper may be a guy to check out for sure. But we're going to jump into some honorable mentions. Now, if you guys are enjoying this video and you want to access some of my exclusive content that rarely makes it to YouTube, be sure to check my Patreon page. There's lots of stuff over there, including autograph checklist breakdowns for every release since 2020, team break guides. My Juggernaut prospect rankings are over there that break every single prospect based on a stats-based formula that I created a few years ago. I've got a top 150 Bowman Chrome Autos under $50 list that does need to be updated here probably in the next month. And I also get access, you also get access to a private Discord server, which is a lot of fun. My man Bobby does a great job moderating that over there. Early access to all YouTube video info. Just a lot going on. It's only $5 a month to unlock all access to all things. And like I said, lots of cool exclusive content over there to keep you guys busy and help you in your prospecting journey. We're going to lead off with AAA, where JJ Weatherholt has hit 6 home runs, 5 doubles, and 12 RBIs. AAA was absolutely stacked in this hot sheet. I've got 4 players from AAA in the top 5. I didn't want to overload the top 10 with AAA players, but I very easily could have done so. So there are several guys in this group that really could have been in that top 10. I just tried to distribute the wealth, I guess you would say, a little bit with the levels. But JJ Weatherholt, huge last 30 days, majority of his reps at shortstop, kind of like Culpepper. He's hitting .306 with 13 home runs and 16 stolen bases this year, and he's got really good underlying data. His stuff's going through the roof at 175. The password is doing well again, hitting more home runs, 6 homers, 5 doubles, 22 RBIs over the last 30. He does have some fringy K data, but that is a lot more tolerable when he's got 18 home runs between AA and AAA, and for the power output he has, you can expect some fringy K data with most prospects. Bryce Eldridge hit 8 jacks, hit 300 in the process. He's got 18 home runs in the season as well, but he's one of the youngest players to play in AA and AAA this year at 20.8. Absolute monster bat. He is going to probably play first base or DH, but the kid can really swing the stick. All 3 of these guys could have easily been in the top 10 without a doubt. AJ Vukovich, he is a guy that is usually, he's either on the cold, the ice cold, or the hot sheet. He's a roller coaster. He has high highs and low lows. Awful career K data, and that's probably why when he's making contact, he's producing, and when he's swinging and missing, it's really bad. So AJ Vukovich, a dinosaur out of 2020 draft. I've actually sold some of his cards years ago. Hector Rodriguez, he's been very consistent throughout his career, and he's also one of the youngest players in AAA, hitting, .306 with 4 home runs. So he's definitely a guy to watch. 2023 Bowman $50 auto, and like I said, throughout Hector Rodriguez's career, he's been a very consistent bat. Carson Williams struggling pretty much this whole season. He's hitting .219 over the last 30 days with 27 strikeouts. This just hasn't been his year. I was kind of expecting really big things from him, maybe even a promotion late in the season to the major leagues, but he's hitting .214 with a 35% K rate so far this year. He does have 18 home runs, but the thing with Williams has always been the K rate, the swing and miss, and the very high ceiling, but also very low floor if he doesn't make contact. So hopefully things can improve maybe towards the end of the season, which is here, or maybe in 2026. There was not a whole lot going on in the Eastern League. I've only got 3 players here, and Ryan Clifford made the list with a .259 batting average, although he did hit 6 home runs. We've got Max Clark, who's got great numbers since his promotion to AA, hitting .292 with 9 home runs on the season. Jet Williams, another guy I really like, hitting .279 with 10 homers and 29 stolen bases this year. He's got his quality speed, power ceiling for a middle infielder, and as mentioned, Ryan Clifford. He's a big power bat. He does have some contact risk, but he's got 21 home runs in AA so far at 22.1. James Tibbs struggling a little bit. He's traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's hitting .228 on the season with 13 home runs, but he has played on 3 teams, and it's probably tough to do such a thing to get comfortable when you're constantly being moved from organization to organization. Next on the list is the Southern League. Denzer Guzman, a flash from the past, 21.4, playing in AA. He's been stagnant in 2023 and 2024, but he's improving his numbers in 2025. A super cheap auto out of 2022 Bowman. Sam Antonacci, 22.5, excellent speed, contact tools, but limited power, and he's got really high ground ball to fly ball rates, so that's going to have a definite impact on his power output throughout his career. Jay Allen, another blast from the past, a guy that I was expecting big things from when 2021 draft was originally releasing, but he's been rather lackluster throughout his career. He's hitting .221 on the season with 8 homers and 15 stolen bases and fringy K numbers, so it does kind of look like Jay Allen's just on the heater at this point. Edwin Arroyo has got no autos. He's only got first chromes in 2021 Bowman draft. High ground ball to fly ball rates have led to limited power throughout his career, but he does have a .280 batting average. William Bergolla, another player with an amazing contact tool and some plus speed. He's got a .291 batting average, 29 stolen bases. His cards are SP'd, and he's 20.8, playing in AA. Unfortunately, it's for the Chicago White Sox, and he doesn't have any power to speak of, but a very good young player in the contact and speed and defensive department. Cooper Kinney got off to a pretty hot start. I thought there were going to be some big bang fireworks. I sold a bunch of my Cooper Kinney right around the midpoint of the season, but he's struggled a little bit over the last month, starting to cool off. He's hitting .249 with 13 homers over the course of the season, but he's got 21 strikeouts and a .158 batting average over the last 30 days. In the Texas League, we've got Jose Fernandez. He's having the best season of his career, hitting .271 with 11 home runs. He is also a very cheap auto out of 2024 Chrome. Walker Jenkins, no shock here. Jenkins is good. It's just a matter of how good he'll be at the MLB level. Tommy Troy is recently promoted to AAA. He's having the best season of his career. 3 home runs, 6 doubles, and 16 RBIs over the last 30 days. A absolute breakout year for Tommy Troy. His cards are still super cheap at $10, though. I think the reasoning could be the lack of history of his performance and the fact that he's 23.5, but he's a pretty cheap auto, having a really good year in 2025. Kalai Rosario, big power, risky hit tool. He usually makes 1 or 2 hot sheets every year because he goes on a home run bender, but there is some contact risk, like he hit .237 over the last 30, but he did hit 6 home runs. So kind of the story with Rosario, big power, big contact risk. Gabriel Gonzalez was recently promoted to AAA. He's hitting .335 with 9 home runs across 3 levels. And another guy whose prices have kind of fluctuated a little bit throughout his career. He's with Minnesota Twins now. He started with the Seattle Mariners, but they're a $25 auto out of 2023 Bowman. Ryan Waldschmidt struggling a little bit, hitting .187 over the last 30 days. He's really struggled since entering AA, which is sometimes happens with prospects in their first taste of AA. It's a hard level, and that's even an understatement in itself. It's a really, really, really hard level. But he's still got solid season numbers, so I wouldn't get too concerned if you're holding on to a bunch of Waldschmidt. He may just be going through a bit of an adjustment phase in AA. In the South Atlantic League, we've got Connor Griffin, who was recently promoted to MLB.com's #1 prospect in the top 100. Kind of like Walker Jenkins, I think Griffin is really, really good. It's just going to be a matter of how good he is at the professional level. And that's one thing that's really hard to predict with prospects, is what they will do once they reach the major leagues. That's why I used to always sell cards right at call up. I never took risks on their performance at the major league level. Ethan Anderson's hitting .243 with a .088 ISO in high A in 2025, but he did make the hot sheet. He's a $10 auto out of 2024 draft. Yofri Rodriguez was traded to the Boston Red Sox. He's very young for high A. He's got some very good underlying data. While his production numbers may not be great, there are some things to like about Rodriguez. He hit 2 home runs, 2 triples, 5 doubles, had 17 RBIs. Another cheap auto. Some cheap autos on this list, all $10 except for Griffin. Samuel Zavala was a guy 2 years ago I thought did have a chance to be... He seemed projectable out of the 2022 Chrome, which was an absolute bloodbath of a release. He's yet to run into any power since 2023. That was his big season. That's when I thought big things were going to happen. But 2024 and 2025 haven't been very good to him. And again, he's also playing for the Chicago White Sox now, no longer the San Diego Padres, which he kind of left a big market for collectors and went into a very small market for collectors. Devin Saltaban, I once had him pegged as a sleeper, but he hasn't panned out. So I guess the gist of this video is don't listen to anything that I say because I am wrong a lot. And admittingly so, when I do a lot of sleeper content, this is kind of how you guys can all see how far off sleepers are from becoming superstars, and the fact that they are cheap autos does imply some risk that they're never going to pan out as well. But it's not much better to lose $5 than to lose 200. So I always enjoy doing the sleeper content. In the Midwest League, we got Hebert Perez, 2021 Bowman, one of the worst releases of any release in recent history. 2021 Bowman comes to mind as an awful release. 2022 Chrome. 2024 Chrome is not very good. 2023 Chrome, not very good. Most of the Chrome releases, there's only a few players worth collecting, but 2021 Bowman was probably one of the worst Bowman, I'm talking not Chrome or draft, I'm just talking the Bowman releases to come out in the last 10 years. Just a really brutal release. There's some power with Perez, but not enough to overcome his bad contact tool. Ralphie Velasquez kind of reminds me of Kala Rosario. Struggles to hit for average, but has a lot of thump, 15 home runs in 2025. His cards are the cheapest I think they've ever been at $15. Blake Mitchell, risky hit tool. He had an injury in 2025. He's got some thump from the left side. Organizations love left-handed hitting catchers, especially those that hit for power, but Mitchell does strike out quite a bit and does have a risky contact tool. Brandon Winokur has improved K-data, but it's still pretty bad. 14 home runs in 2025. He's on a heater. Leo DeVries was traded to the Athletics, one of the youngest players in high A. He's got a very high ceiling. His numbers won't jump out at you, but the fact that he's 18 years old playing in high A and still having some production at all is pretty impressive. So I wouldn't jump ship on DeVries yet. The only thing I would consider jumping is if you were a San Diego Padres fan and he did get traded to the Athletics, and now you're like, what am I going to do with these cards? I don't like any Athletics players. So that may be a reason to get rid of him if you want to, but I still think there's a lot of hope for him. He's just so young. It's too early to tell, how good he is going to be. Blake Burke struggling, hasn't shown off much power since the draft, unfortunately. 18 strikeouts, hitting 200 over the last 30. In the high A Northwestern League, we've got Cutter Coffees hitting 281 with 9 home runs and 7 stolen bases on the season. Junior Franco, 288, 5 homers, but he is a bit old for high A. I'm flying through these honorable mentions, but I don't know if I have enough voice today to get too long-winded. Drew Jones has improved K numbers from 24 to 25, which may be a reason why he's having one of the better seasons of his career. He's got elite defensive center field, but I still think there's a bit of hit tool risk, but I am glad to see he is doing better. Yancel Luis, solid hit tool, limited power, mainly due to too many ground balls. One of the stats that I talk about quite a bit in all of my content, I have it on all my breakdowns over on Patreon, is ground ball to fly ball rate. If that's over like 1.5, I wouldn't ever really anticipate anybody hitting for any power. It's just too many ground balls. So something to look for there if you're basing who you want to collect on projection. Ground ball to fly ball rate is a very important stat to check, because if they hit a ton of ground balls, their power projection is not going to be very good. Jonah Cox, Northwest League, was limited this month, so I threw him on there. He's 24 years old. He had 3 home runs, hit 263. Not much to talk about, $5 auto. And he's, like I said, he's already 24, so that ship may have sailed. Arjun Namala, he's had 7 doubles, hitting 200. He really wasn't terrible per se, but I couldn't find any big names that were sort of struggling. It was all guys that have been struggling throughout their career in the ice cold department, but Namala was one that stuck out that's struggling a little bit right now over the last 30 days. Christian Vaquero is on the hot sheet for back-to-back months in the honorable mention department. As I mentioned last month, it may be time to sell all the Vaquero that you paid $125 for on release. Maybe try to recoup some of your funds. His stuff's selling for $10 now. Like I said, best season of his career, but he's almost 21, still playing in low A, so that's never a good sign. Josh Adamszewski missed time with injury, 345 batting average, 5 home runs. I think his stuff's starting to take off a little bit. $35 auto out of 2024 Bowman Chrome. George Wolko has improved K rates, but they're still bad. I said improved, but his K numbers are still bad even though they've improved. But he does have a pretty high speed power combination, which does get a lot of attraction in the hobby. Just be careful of that risky hit tool with excessive risk. Braylon Payne, solid production. He's very young. He's got some high Ks and high ground ball to fly ball rates, but he was on a bit of a heater. He's 18.9. Like I said, you know, if you're banking on Braylon Payne to run into a bunch of power and his value just completely increase, double, triple, whatever, he's going to have to get the ball in the air more because, like I said, you can't hit a home run off a ground ball, and the hobby does really seem to be attracted to home runs in this collecting generation. Caleb Bonham, a 271 batting average with 8 home runs and 24 stolen bases in 2025, had a homer and 6 doubles. Filippo Dituri, couldn't find a whole lot of popular guys on the ice cold list, so I put Dituri on here, and he hasn't been very good this season at all. So it wasn't really much of a surprise, but you can see the numbers there, not very good. I was doing the low A Florida State League. I ran into Tony Blanco Jr. I looked at his numbers and I was like, oh my goodness, how is his auto $45? He was recently promoted to A ball. He's 20.1. So like I said, recently promoted to A ball at a 20.1 years old. He's very old for the level. He's got awful K numbers, and his cards are super expensive. So I'm not sure what I'm missing with a first baseman in low A that's old for the level. But people, I guess, are willing to pay some serious money for some Tony Blanco Jr. cards. Dante Nori, speed hit tool, but he's nearly 21 years old in low A, so there's not much point talking much about him. Alfredo Alcantara, solid season across 2 levels, hitting .299 with 4 home runs. Could be a guy that's a sleeper, $5 auto. Maybe somebody to keep an eye on the rest of the year and in early 2026. Alfredo Duno, I love this guy. When he stays free of injuries, he's usually pretty good. I think he's got a higher ceiling than most people think. He's a catcher. His cards are still pretty cheap. I thought about actually buying some Duno, but I just don't have time to buy and sell anymore. Doing all the things that I do outside of Let's Talk Wax and creating content kind of fills the void for that in my hobby. So this has become my hobby, talking to you guys about prospects, but I did like the look of Duno, and hopefully he can continue to perform well. Yasser Mercedes has been a huge letdown over his career, kind of a bust so far, 20.7 in low A. He's hitting under 200, but he's got 9 home runs and 33 stolen bases. That makes any Mercedes collectors feel better. I was very high on him at one point, but he was out of 2022 Chrome, so he was cursed. No one was going to make it out of that release alive. So you're going to see Roderick Arias and other guys just not going to make it out of 2022 Chrome alive. He's looking like more than a bust than a projectable prospect. There were some positive signs last year, but it's just not looking good for Roderick Arias at this point in his career. Since the Complex League has concluded and there are literally over 100 players with a 1.000 plus OPS in the DSL, Low A California League is going to wrap up our honorable mentions. We've got Walker Martin having the best season of his career, but another 21-year-old in Low A. Derek Bernard, solid production, but he's got horrible ground ball to fly ball rate, so that power may never come for him. Yasel Soler, 12 home runs in 2025. He did 241 on the season with decent K numbers. Maybe a guy to check out. He's a $5 auto. Any $5 auto with solid numbers is interesting to me for sure. Emil Morales, a $45 auto. I think that's mainly based purely on the fact that he plays for the Dodgers and he was a hype man out of 2024 Chrome. 27% swinging K rate and a 16.7 swing strike percentage. So the hit tool risk is real, but he is still producing. Like I said, 296 batting average, 11 home runs, Not sure what's going to happen with those K numbers as he moves up, but we'll have to wait and see. Rodney Green Jr. was actually demoted from high A to low A, but he's performing well back in low A at 22.2. J.D. Dick struggling a little bit, hitting 215. He's actually hitting 309 on the season, so he's just got a little cold spell going on here. Nothing serious with Dicks in this season. All right, top 5 time with some big heaters coming in this month. We've got Amebelik Ortiz, 23.4. We do have one 24-year-old and some older guys on this, but like I said, AAA was just absolutely on fire this year. First base prospect, recently promoted to AAA, has got 33 home runs in 2023, 18 so far in 2025, so he's never really been able to repeat the power numbers he put up back in 2023, but he's a cheap auto with some power. 2024 Bowman, 18 homers and a 255 batting average, reasonable K number, so maybe a guy, interesting prospect, but the age does kind of deter me from being interested in him. Carson Benj, a very good player in Double-A, 22.5. He's been crushing Double-A since his promotion. Some prospects take off right away. Some prospects struggle for a little bit in Double-A. You never really know what's going to happen once they reach that level. He's also got really good underlying contact data with a little bit of juice. He's got 12 home runs on the season, kind of an inside-out swing from the left side. But like I said, 12 home runs is above average power for me. The 213 ISO is probably fed by some doubles and triples. But 19 stolen bases and really good K numbers. He's in top 100, number 68. He's a $100 auto, so he's not cheap. Samuel Basallo, I talk about him all the time. Not a surprise. One of the highest ceiling bats in all of minor league baseball and youngest players in AAA. His defense is improving. Just when is it going to be Basallo time, I guess is what I need to start saying, because I get tired of talking about this guy. I've been talking about him since 2023 Chrome released, and I just don't know what else new to say about Basallo. Surprise, Dylan Beavers was, I think he was honorable mention last month, and this month he is actually on the top 10. 8 home runs, 3 doubles, 14 RBIs, 16 stolen bases. Albeit being almost 24 years old, he is on an absolute heater. He's got a high speed power ceiling, great and improved underlying K data. One thing I really want to emphasize is the improved underlying K data from his career K data. His cards are SP'd as well, so he's kind of tough to find. He's a $70 auto out of 2022 draft. Now we got to get to Spencer Jones, and I rarely put people that are over the age of 24 on prospect hot sheet, but this guy, I guess, was just a giant that needed to be awakened. He struggled with strikeouts over his career since being drafted, but man, 2025 has been a huge year for Spencer Jones. His cards are at an absolute all-time high at $250. They're still skyrocketing up. There's sale after sale after sale after sale on eBay of Spencer Jones. He's got a 365 ISO. Not a lot of players outside the DSL and Complex League are even hitting 365, and Jones has a 365 ISO, leads the minor leagues in home runs at 29. There's still some swing and miss risk, but my goodness, if he's going to have that kind of power output, it's not going to be a factor. 9 home runs, 3 doubles, 19 RBIs, 9 stolen bases over the last 30 days. He's number 4 in the organization. I think MLB.com's most recent update, I have him as not top 100, but I think they snuck him in like the bottom 5 just because he's been so good. I think he may be 95 through 100 on that list now. $250 auto, like I said. He is 24, but man, when a Yankees player gets called up and has success at the major league level, it really doesn't matter how old they are. It's the best market in prospecting for any player. So sometimes it's cool just to target Yankees players, because when they do take off, man, the whole world's watching them, it feels like. So Spencer Jones takes the number 1 spot this month after an absolute colossus past 30 days. Now, if you guys enjoyed this content, don't forget to check out Patreon. There's lots of exclusive content over there that never makes it to the YouTube channel. You get early access to all my YouTube video info as well. Go check it out. It's only $5 a month, and there's enough stuff over there to keep y'all busy for a while. I want to give a huge shout out to all my Patreon level 3 subscribers. You guys rock. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you do, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my future videos, and y'all have a great day.